Hey guys, it's Rage here, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different and talk about a brand new survival game that we've heard so much about, we had to try it ourselves. I'll admit I was a little bit skeptical about it, considering a large amount of broadcasters and content creators were raving about this small studio title, so we decided to give it a shot. Next Day Survival is a multiplayer survival game with the elements of an RPG and an imaginary country in Eastern Europe. The next day, you carry out an array of tasks, learn skills, and develop your character in order to learn the land, the loot, and the factions that will ultimately decide how you play the game moving forward and establish your reputation as a survivor. So here we are doing a video that is the first of its kind on this channel because I was so overly impressed by this game. So without further ado, let's learn a bit about Next Day Survival and talk about its pros, cons, and my overall personal opinion of this game. There are three factions in Next Day Survival: Neutral, Civilian, and Looter. These groups are pretty self-explanatory, but let me explain anyways. A neutral player is someone who hasn't chosen the side of Looter or Civilian. These characters claim no issue and can move freely without being considered a threat most of the time. Looters are the bandit-style players that kill to survive and claim no law. A Looter faction player is out for goods to further their own survival. Civies are players whose goal is to survive alongside as many people as possible, trading, selling, and looting to get by. While being a civvy is not as an aggressive playstyle as a looter would be, you will still find yourself in adrenaline-filled situations with AI, players, wildlife, and risky radiation zones. In the beginning of your lifespan, you start off with nothing, and are laid out a number of quests to learn and to choose your character's fate. However, once you arrive at the quest, you choose Looter or Civilian. If you accept, you can no longer be neutral, and you are forever branded whichever faction you choose. Other than players of enemy factions, you will find yourself faced with madmen, AI members of the opposite faction whose primary goal is to execute members of the opposite faction, and wildlife predators like bears and wolves. Alongside of these threats are survival elements that are not to be taken lightly. A lot like Rust, when you spawn in, you have little to no clothing, and in this location it is cold and you get sick fast. When you first start, your primary goal should be to find clothing, which you can find in any faction or neutral zone or in the wasteland that lies before you. If you are not successful, the cold alone can kill you in less than 10 minutes. While there are multiple medical remedies in this title, they can only do so much for a player with little to no clothing. As you can see here in this short clip, I was talking to this guy in the camp who was complaining about needing antibiotics. He had only been playing the game for about 15 minutes before he died right in front of me. Next Day Survival offers a real poor man's escape from Tarkov feeling with the inventory system put in place at every safe zone. Any and all loot you find can be stored in these safe zones, acting as a permanent base for your gear that is safe at all times since only you can access these items. Each category offers up to 48 slots of any size and any weight items, which is extremely appealing. However, when you store your gear in a specific zone, you cannot access that loot in any other zone. For example, if you are far northeast and store your only light machine gun so that if you die you have it when you go back, you will have to travel all the way back instead of being able to access it at the main spawn point, the neutral zone. A lot like all other survival genre titles, when you die you lose everything you have in your person, causing most players to loot close to their respective safe zone. Players usually carry light, small amounts of loot and carry them to safety as quickly as possible. Now, let's talk about a few of the issues I've personally found in this exciting and upcoming title. While the game is honestly not entirely glitchy, there are things implemented that I feel take away from the near perfect game. The first one is server size. Currently the servers only offer a size of 24 players max. I feel as if this needs to be boosted, as 24 is a little too low for the medium-sized map. I personally would like to see 36 to 40 person size servers sometime in the near future, but again, there's no rush. Spawn locations for beginning players is set to strictly near the neutral zone, which makes places you can go to get by very limited in the beginning. I can see how this should be a positive thing, however, players who have already progressed usually sit outside these zones and KOS or kill on sight any fresh player they can for loot or for giggles. Alongside of the previous issues, there is no first person camera. In the 10 hours I have on this game, there have already been multiple situations where first person would have been extremely useful. This would also provide a variety to those who play strictly first-person servers for more immersion, which would be a pleasant option to enjoy the beautiful map that lies before us. certain missions can also be a window for players to duplicate gear over and over. What I mean there is, a player is given weapons for certain missions and they can store those items, kill themselves on a fire, or get shot intentionally, and respawn at the neutral zone with the mission ready to be assigned again and receive that same loot. Rinse and repeat. This was already a problem for me when I was streaming this title, and I hope that this becomes a priority fix for the dev team. And last but not least, for the moment, player controller is very clunky and slow. I'd like to see improvements there, but that is honestly it. I didn't really find much wrong with the game that would make the experience extremely poor. It honestly offers a very fun experience for its survivors, an exciting twist to the survival genre we've been thirsty for. Guys, I really like this title, and I think you will too. It's only $7 to $10 right now, so I really do think you should give it a shot. What really do you have to lose with that little money in such a fun game? And that's going to do it for me, guys. My overall opinion of this game is extremely positive, and I'm looking forward to see what it holds in the future. I'm definitely going to be revisiting this again in the future on my stream with my community to play with all of you guys. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is my first ever game review. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys find yourself having some fun in the wasteland thanks to this video. And if I don't see you next time, I'll see you in Chernarus. Take care, guys.